Celtic are in a race against the clock to get new signings registered before Tuesday's Champions League deadline, with the LASK game just 2 days away. We have also got a former Celtic defender who has broken his silence on why he left Parkhead this summer, a fresh transfer blow in the search for an Engels replacement, the referee confirmed for Wednesday's big game, and a breakdown of how Celtic could pocket millions in extra Champions League cash before a ball is even kicked. Big morning. Let's get into it. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Stephen Welsh has spoken exclusively to Celtic News and opened up for the first time on why he left Celtic this summer, revealing that the decision to terminate his contract actually came from the club first. Welsh, who came through the Celtic Academy and made more than 70 appearances for the first team, agreed to cancel the final year of his contract to allow him to join Swansea City on a free transfer. It was a quiet end to a long association with the club. Speaking to Celtic News, he said, "Originally it came from them, which is fair enough. Going back to Motherwell in January, that was probably the point that I knew that I had to move on in the summer. It's a tough decision, but I think selfishly you need to make decisions for your own career. They need to for the club as well. So we just came to an agreement that it would be best to move on. As soon as Swansea came calling, it was a no-brainer for me." Welsh made his Celtic debut back in 2020 and was always a reliable squad player, though he never quite nailed down a regular starting place. His time at Motherwell on loan last season, where he impressed, highlighted the gap between what he needed to develop his career and what Celtic were able to offer him. He was asked whether he was surprised Celtic chose not to hold out for a transfer fee. His response was honest and measured. He said, "Yeah, I don't know the financial logistics, but for me it's about playing and being involved with the squad. Obviously, they didn't see me as part of that, which is fair enough. It's a football business at the end of the day, which is cutthroat, so you need to respect every decision made. Honestly, it probably suited me in the end because I get to come down here without any transfer fees." The 26-year-old made his championship debut for Swansea at the weekend, coming on in a 2-1 win over Stoke City. He can now focus on building a fresh chapter away from Parkhead. Celtic, meanwhile, continue to look at how to strengthen the squad with the biggest game of the season just 48 hours away. Now for the main story, as Celtic are working against the clock to get new signings registered before Tuesday night's deadline, with reporter Alan Nixon confirming that the club are trying to add to their squad before the cut-off point for the LASK Champions League tie. Celtic have already brought in Haissem Hassan and Mika Bauer this summer, and both made their debuts in Friday's impressive 4-0 League Cup win over Dundee United. Both were registered in time to be included in Celtic's Champions League squad ahead of UEFA's Thursday deadline, so they are already in the group. But the rules allow Celtic to register 2 additional players for the LASK playoff specifically, as long as those players are signed and submitted before 11 p.m. tomorrow night. That is the window the club are now trying to use. The positions Celtic most want to address are left-back, goalkeeper and a midfielder to replace Arne Engels following his £22 million departure to West Ham on Saturday night. That is 3 requirements and potentially only 2 spots available in the registration, so the club will have to make quick decisions about which positions to prioritise. The good news is that Alistair Johnston's injury has taken the pressure off on the right side of defence. His unavailability means he is unlikely to be sold this week, giving Celtic one less thing to worry about in terms of outgoings. Journalist Alan Nixon's word here is trying not close or done. That distinction matters. Celtic have 36 hours to turn this into something concrete. The LASK first leg kicks off on Wednesday evening. The clock is running. In other news, Celtic's search for a midfielder to replace Arne Engels has hit a significant obstacle this morning, with fresh competition emerging for Gvidas Gunaitis from Torino. The Lithuanian international has been on Celtic's radar for some time and was identified as one of the key targets to fill the gap left by Engels' departure. At 21 years old, he fits the profile the club have been looking for, a young, technically capable central midfielder with Serie A experience and room to grow. But Celtic are not alone. Record Sport reports that Crystal Palace, Red Bull Salzburg and Anderlecht have all entered the picture. That is a serious field of competition spanning the Premier League, Austrian football and Belgian club football. Crystal Palace, in particular, could offer European football and a clear step up in profile for a player at Unitas' stage of development. On the positive side for Celtic, no formal talks between any club and Torino have started yet, and the fee being reported has come down significantly from earlier estimates. Figures of around £9 million are now understood to be closer to Torino's actual asking price, rather than the 14 to 15 million euros that had been suggested previously. Celtic remain long-term admirers of the player. The problem is that with a registration deadline of 11 p.m. tomorrow and no formal talks in place, Unitas is not going to be the short-term fix for Wednesday. This one is more likely a story that develops after the last tie, if at all. In other news, Celtic could be in line for a significant financial boost from the Champions League even before Wednesday's game kicks off, depending on results in other playoff ties happening this week. UEFA's new financial distribution model includes something called the Value Pillar, which ranks all 36 teams who qualify for the league phase based on their European record, their television market size, and their long-term coefficient. That ranking directly determines how much prize money each club earns from the competition. A number of results this week could move Celtic up those rankings and increase their earnings if they get past LASK. The most impactful would be Fenerbahce being eliminated by Lyon. Despite Fenerbahce having a stronger 5-year coefficient than Celtic, the Hoops' stronger television market ranking means they finish ahead of the Turkish club in the combined table. A Fenerbahce exit could be worth an additional €1,280,000 to Celtic. If NEC eliminate Bodo Glimt, Celtic move one place higher in the 5-year coefficient rankings, potentially adding around €940,000, and if Viking knock out Dinamo Zagreb, a further €350,000 could follow. In total, those three results going the right way could add around €2,540,000 to Celtic's Champions League income, on top of whatever guaranteed money they receive for qualifying for the league phase itself. First things first, though, Celtic need to get past LASK. Everything else is secondary until that job is done. Lastly, UEFA have confirmed the referee for Wednesday's Champions League playoff first leg against LASK, and it is a name Celtic supporters will recognise immediately, for better and for worse. Sandro Scherer, a 38-year-old Swiss referee, has been appointed to take charge of the game. This will be the fourth time he has officiated a Celtic match in European competition. Celtic have not won under him yet, which makes it fourth-time lucky territory for the Hoops. Scherer comes into this fixture with a strong reputation at the top level. He was the referee for Real Madrid's UEFA Super Cup win over Atalanta in 2024, took charge of Portugal's penalty shootout victory over Spain in the UEFA Nations League final in 2025, and most recently oversaw PSG's extraordinary 5-4 Champions League semi-final win over Bayern Munich. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.